Need to connect, that's all, isn't it? Hello and welcome. This is the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. My name is Justin Bemwi and my sign language interpreter is Josiah Abdullahi. Now let's begin with the headlines. Cyber terrorism gains momentum as Lagos court sends 2 Chinese to prison for 46 years. Nigerian First Lady renews commitment to shaping Nigeria's desirable future and emerges a leadership newspaper's Person of the Year. And Taiwanese president raises alarm over China's plan to seize Taiwan, says neighboring countries could be next if China succeeds. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te has warned that if China seizes Taiwan, neighboring countries could be next in line. In an interview, he stressed the need for urgent defense reforms, stronger regional cooperation, and continued support from United States to deter Beijing's growing military pressure across the Indo-Pacific, urging allies to remain united. Adaobi Obiechina tells us more.
Lai asserted that if China annexed Taiwan, expansion would not stop there. He identified Japan and the Philippines as potential next targets, emphasizing Taiwan's strategic position within the First Island chain and its importance to global trade. Confident that Parliament will approve a $40 billion defense package, Lai underscored Taiwan's commitment to purchasing advanced U.S. weapons. He maintained Washington would not treat Taiwan as bargaining chip in negotiations with Beijing. Lai concluded that safeguarding Taiwan is vital to preserving regional stability and deterring broader Chinese expansion across Indo-Pacific. In another development, Britain has pledged hundreds of millions of dollars in additional air defense support for Ukraine as Russia attacks on energy infrastructure intensifies. The announcement made during a NATO meeting in Brussels underscores Allied efforts to strengthen Kyiv's ability to protect civilians and critical services during winter. The British Defense Ministry said $200 million would fund participation in NATO initiative backed by US President Donald Trump to procure American weapons for Ukraine. London will also supply 1,000 British-made lightweight missiles valued at over $500 million. Defense Secretary John Halley stressed that Ukraine's allies remain steadfast as the war approaches its 5th year. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius condemned Russian strikes on energy system as terrorism against civilians, urging stronger self-defense support. NATO leaders agreed bolstered air defenses are critical to shielding Ukraine's population and infrastructure from relentless Russian winter bombardments. Adobe Obiechina, NTA News.
And the acting head of the United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo has arrived in the eastern city of Goma, marking a significant step toward reviving peace operations. The visit follows months of restricted access after the city fell under M23 rebel control amid escalating regional conflict. Again, let's have Adobe Obiechina for details.
Vivian van der Perry landed in Goma, abroad, in UN helicopter, restoring limited air access to the city's airport after prolonged closure due to heavy fighting. The UN described the landing as a milestone, enabling preparations for a ceasefire monitoring mission in the volatile region. Goma has been controlled by Rwanda-backed M23 since January last year, when a swift offensive across eastern Congo left thousands dead and displaced many. Despite the December peace accord between Kinshasa and Kigali, fighting persists, prompting renewed mediation efforts led by Angola. The UN mission plans to deploy ceasefire monitors in Uvira in the coming weeks as diplomatic pressure intensifies to secure a lasting truce between Congolese force and M23 rebels. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso and Russia finalized their nuclear program agreement, paving the way for nuclear infrastructure development for peaceful purposes. The deal, managed by Rosatom, aims to diversify Burkina Faso's energy sources, boosting electricity capacity and strengthening bilateral cooperation, making a major milestone in West African nations' energy strategy. The agreement allows Rosatom to support Burkina Faso in building nuclear power plants and research reactors for peaceful energy use. Burkina Faso views nuclear energy as key to improving electrification, energy security, and reducing reliance on traditional Western energy partners. Next step includes technical and financial offers from Rosatom, determining visibility and full implementation of Burkina Faso's nuclear program. Adobe Obiechina, NTA News.
Now, the 49th session of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, Governing Council concluded in Rome with delegates pledging to ramp up assistance for smallholder farmers amid global food security challenges. IFAD President Alvaro Lario lauded Nigeria for its effective leadership in chairing the meeting, highlighting the country's role in fostering productive discussions on rural entrepreneurship and agricultural investment. Musa Babalu has the details.
Delegates from 180 member countries wrapped up a busy two-day session at the International Fund for Agricultural Development IFAD headquarters in Rome, focusing on critical global challenges. The gathering addressed three key issues: enhancing food production, boosting youth engagement in agriculture, and empowering women in rural communities. After intensive deliberations, idea exchanges, and the adoption of resolutions, IFAD chairperson and Nigeria's Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, delivered an overview of the council meeting's outcomes.
As this session draws to a close, our work still continues. Let us act together as true champions of IFAD. Let us advocate for its indispensable role in the fight against poverty and hunger. Let us continue sowing the seeds of opportunity, knowing that the harvest we cultivate today will sustain generations to come. On that note, I hereby declare the 49th session of the Governing Council closed.
Alvaro Lario, IFAD President, expressed deep appreciation to Nigeria and Minister of Agriculture Abubakar Kyari for his composure, focus, and exemplary leadership throughout the proceedings.
The priorities you have shared with us today will continue to guide all our work during the next years. Excellencies, I'm proud of what IFAD delivers and how the institution has strengthened its capacity to deliver at scale. IFAD exists because others had the foresight almost 5 decades ago to create an institution designed to invest in rural areas systematically and also at scale.
Looking ahead, the 2027 meeting will mark a milestone as IFAD and its member nations celebrate 5 decades since the organization's founding. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, has convicted and sentenced 2 Chinese nationals, Huang Haoyu and An Hongshu, to 46 years imprisonment each for cyber terrorism and internet fraud. The convicts were among a syndicate of 792 fraudsters arrested for cryptocurrency investment and romance fraud in December 2024 in Lagos in an operation tagged Eagle Flush Operation by EFCC operatives. At the resumed trial, their counsel, Bridget Omaten, informed the court that the defendants would like to change their pleas from not guilty to guilty. Following their guilty pleas, the prosecution counsel Bilikisu Bala Buhari prayed the court to convict the accused and also ordered a forfeiture of all items recovered during investigation from the 4 properties listed in the charge to the federal government of Nigeria. Delivering judgment, Justice Daniel Osiago convicted and sentenced the first and third defendants to a cumulative term of 46 years imprisonment each, with an optional fine of 56 million naira. The court also ordered that they undertake 3 days of community service and be repatriated after serving their sentences and completing the community service. Now, the commencement of trial of the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, and 2 others over alleged financial crimes before the Federal High Court, Abuja, has been stalled. The development was due to the recusal of the presiding judge, Justice Obiora Egwatu. Justice Egwatu withdrew from 2 cases brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, against former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. The judge recently reassigned to the cases by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, cited personal reasons and the need to uphold the interests of justice for his recusal. The cases were initially handled by Justice Emeka Nwite, who served as a vacation judge during the Christmas period. Malami is also being prosecuted by the federal government through the Department of State Services, DSS, for alleged terrorism financing. Justice Obiora Egwatu is the second judicial officer to recuse himself from the trial of Abubakar Malami, SAN. Now, the willingness of all Nigerians to work together across cultural and religious differences remains crucial in shaping a desirable future for the country. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated these at the 18th Leadership Newspapers Annual Conference and Awards Ceremony, where she emerged as the person of year 2025. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo completes the story.
Eminent Nigerians make their way into the Bola Tinubu International Conference Center, Abuja, as witnesses to history. Like other editions, the 18th Leadership Newspapers Annual Conference and Award Ceremony celebrate exemplary contributions to governance, business, social impact, and public service, demonstrated this time by a roll call of distinguished Nigerians led by the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu. Her recognition as Leadership Newspapers Person of the Year 2025 bears loud testimony to our efforts in transforming compassion into a national framework of hope and measurable change through our pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative.
We are celebrating excellence, but not perfection. Commitment, impact, and consistent service to this nation and humanity.
And there, another honor held aloft for the world to see. Accepting the award, the First Lady thanked the management of Leadership Newspapers not only for the honor, but for its continued commitment to journalism that informs, inspires, and strengthens democracy in the country.
I do not take this honor alone. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of people who have mentored and continue to mentor me. This award is for all those who have helped me along the way. It is also for the many Nigerians, especially women, young people, and community leaders who work quietly every day to uplift others and ignite hope in our nation.
She says nation building will always be at the center of our service, describing our award as another call to action.
The future of our nation depends on our willingness to work together across cultural and religious differences and interests for the good of all. For a house divided against itself cannot stand. Let us keep working together to realize the Nigeria of our dreams. I dedicate this award to every citizen who believes that selfless service and humaneness can truly change lives.
The theme of the award, political stability and sustainable development in Africa in an increasingly unstable global system, a roadmap for Nigeria, drew deep thoughts from speakers.
Press is also central to that same contract. When journalism holds power to account, citizens can see what is happening, demand better, and hold their leaders to the standards that they were promised. Nigeria has one of the most vibrant independent media landscapes on the continent, and that is an asset that needs to be protected in this age of misinformation.
A roadmap to make Africa great again cannot proceed without Nigeria, or it will end up in a cul-de-sac.
27 eminent Nigerians and corporate organizations were recognized at the award ceremony instituted 18 years ago by the founder of Leadership Newspapers, late Sam Inda Isaiah. From Bola Tinubu International Conference Center, Abuja, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We now take a break. We'll be back with more stories in a moment. To stay with us. Now, attention is shifting to subnational actors as the National Council on Climate Change, in partnership with the UNDP, tasked states with delivering comprehensive climate data for Nigeria. With the data collection and review workshops concluding, state-level representatives are expected to play a critical role in strengthening the country's greenhouse gas inventory and overall climate reporting framework. Charles Alpha reports.
With the first few days devoted to MDAs on how they can contribute robustly to the preparation of the expected reports to the UNFCCC, attention is now shifted to the states, and focus is on assessing the use of standardized template for activity data collection, covering key sectors such as energy, waste, agriculture, transport, and land use, all of which are essential for compiling an accurate and transparent national greenhouse gas inventory.
The overall objective of this is for us to have a strong MRV system and a strong institutional arrangement across national and subnational, so that we'll build this institution in such a way that there will be easy inflow of data.
The subnational institutions are considered vital because much of the primary data required for the reports is generated at the state level. Their responsibility, which includes analyzing, collecting, and harmonizing sectoral data to ensure consistency, is needed to avoid duplication and close reporting gaps ahead of the submission deadline.
The national should now see a way by which they create a platform where, from local government, from states, from non-governmental organization, from private sector, whatever data you have, we must be able to domicile it in a particular place for national to be able to tap and use it for national planning and development.
And this provides a good platform for the states to know how to do it. You know, during the course of this training, we have been provided with templates to record these achievements, particularly as it relates to greenhouse gas emission.
And the focus of all those things is for us to understand the emission level from the country. And for us to know all these things, we have to own it.
Some actors believe that beyond data provision, states are at the forefront of implementing climate actions, making their inputs critical to demonstrating Nigeria's progress under the Paris Agreement. No wonder the National Council on Climate Change, in partnership with the UNDP, are engaging them for this course. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Now, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, is synergizing with the Voice of Nigeria, VON, to expand global visibility of the nation's education sector through strategic media partnership. Now, this was the outcome of a meeting between the management of VON, led by its Director General, Jibrin Baba Ndachi, and the Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Sonny Echono, in Abuja. Chukwunoso Wabueze reports.
Jibril Babandachi, while proposing a structured collaboration that would enable VON's nationwide reporters to cover TED Fund activities, translate content into its 8 broadcast languages, as well as support capacity building for communication teams within Nigeria's tertiary institutions, said with the proliferation of fake news, misinformation and disinformation, agencies of government such as TED Fund must rise to the challenge and counter the push for negative narratives to take over the media landscape.
We know that a lot is being done. We also know that you have built a very media-friendly institution, and the media department is working hard. But I want to offer Voice of Nigerian platform, sir, to you, to take funds to help amplify our own stories.
The Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Sonny Echono, expressed the agency's readiness to leverage VON's extensive broadcast reach to better showcase TED Fund's projects and contributions to tertiary education development across Nigeria and beyond.
It's more strategic now because we're also going into an election cycle. So we're expanding our reach in terms of those that we try to tell what have we been doing. Because in all matters, your relevance will only be appreciated if people come to know about the things that you do and are able to assess them and value them.
Echono, while emphasizing the importance of joint content creation and sustained collaboration, directed the agency's public affairs department to work closely with the Voice of Nigeria to develop a functional framework for an enhanced continuous engagement. Chukunonsonwa Bueze, NTA News.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has refuted a publication circulating in some media outlets alleging that the federal government directed the agency to suspend enforcement actions on sachet alcohol and alcoholic beverages packaged in PET bottles below 200 ml. The agency describes the report as false and misleading and does not reflect any official communication from the federal government. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeye, said that at no time has the agency received any directive to suspend its regulatory or enforcement activities regarding sachet alcohol and small volume alcoholic beverages. She explained that NAFDAC has commenced the evacuation of violative sachet alcohol and alcoholic drinks in PET bottles below 200 ml from companies. According to her, some manufacturers, having recognized that the objective of the policy is to protect children from easy access to alcohol, have begun desisting from producing the smaller pack sizes. The agency reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding public health, ensuring regulatory compliance and implementing government policies transparently and in accordance with due process. It added that any decision affecting national regulatory actions will be communicated through official government channels. Now, Nigeria is moving to curb the export of unprocessed raw materials as the Raw Materials Research and Development Council comes up with a new policy mandating at least 30% of local value addition before export. The council announced that an amendment to its act, already passed by the National Assembly and awaiting presidential assent, will require raw materials to undergo partial processing within Nigeria before leaving the country. The Director General described the move as a decisive shift from exporting wealth to building industry at home. Despite Nigeria's vast agricultural and mineral resources, the country spends nearly $10 billion annually importing raw materials. In the first half of 2025 alone, 3.53 trillion naira was spent on inputs that experts say are available locally, with about 70% of manufacturing materials still sourced from overseas.
Value addition bill. For us, it is the game changer. It is the key to actualizing all the objectives, all the goals of all previous administrations, including that of his. If we're able to achieve that as a country.
The former Director General of the Council, Professor Azikiwe Peter Nwaolu, said while the Council has developed 46 commercial technologies over the years, Nigeria is not yet at the promised land due to infrastructure gaps, financing challenges, and limited commercialization of research. The Council's new 2025 to 2034 roadmap focuses on deeper value addition, industrial scale-up, digital raw materials data systems, and stronger private sector collaboration. After its creation to address import dependence, the RMRDC says the next frontier is clear, ensuring Nigeria processes more of what it produces before. Now, the national coordinator of this sector-wide approach SWAP Coordination Office, Dr. Muntaka Umar Sadiq, says the vision of the National Health Fellows Program is to build the next generation of healthcare leaders in Nigeria. He made this known during his visit to the onboarding of the second cohort of the National Health Fellows in Abuja, where he represented the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pati. The program selects emerging professionals from all 774 local government areas of the country, cutting across health, information technology, and social science disciplines, and is designed to strengthen leadership and capacity building within Nigeria's healthcare system. Dr. Umar Sadiq explained that the program is not defined by age, but by leadership potential, mindset, and the ability to seize opportunities. He noted that despite significant investments in the health sector, Nigeria still faces major challenges in health outcomes, including maternal and child mortality, access to quality care, drug availability, and weak supply chains. He highlighted the highly competitive nature of the program, revealing that over 155,000 people applied nationwide, making the selected fellows among the best and brightest Nigerians. He further outlined the benefits of the National Health Fellows Program, including hands-on training in health systems, leadership, stakeholder management, problem-solving, policy engagement, and digital innovation. Fellows will also benefit from mentorship, continuous learning, and direct engagement with state commissioners and key stakeholders. Dr. Umar Sadiq stressed that after their training, fellows are expected to take initiative, demonstrate ownership, apply innovative solutions, and make measurable impact within their communities, local governments, and states, contributing to long-term improvements in Nigeria's healthcare system. And this is where the news ends. I thank you so much for watching. My name is Justin Bemunyi, and Josiah Abdullah has been the sign language interpreter. Bye for now.